Alright, that was just to the right of center. Here it is, right here. Alright, that's a pretty good catch. Well, doesn't look like it's been cut at all, so hopefully we ain't got nothing left here. Earlier we got this, looks like a dog chain hook or something. Alright, so we got metal again. We're on our outside timer out. We took a hedgerow out here 2 years ago and we're finding all kinds of crap here. So it's the indicator, it's just right of center. Let's try it one more time. I need to get a smaller pile to search through here, so alright, we'll have to search through. There's about a bushel basket full of frickin' hay there that we'll have to search through. Oh, it was just to the right of center. We caught a pretty good piece of wire just back there about 50 feet. So the magnet roll is this one here. So the sensor hit it right there. So the other piece of that crap that I got back there. Yeah, this one hasn't been zinged off, so I should have had somebody come over with a metal detector and walk this stinking frickin' windrow. Alright, so this one's still in there. Not not even gonna reverse it. We're just right of center. Alright, I didn't reverse that, so this one should still be in there. It's in the same spot, just to the right of center. I think it's right there. Right there. So, that didn't even make it. You see how close that got? That was right there. I didn't even reverse it. It detected that. Boom! Now, will we find anything more? Be a good job for James. Get that metal detector out of the shop and
I was just gonna say that.
go walk these windrows. We're on new seating, buddy. We had a hedgerow there and a one there, and walked those two windrows and the outsides. All right, so it's telling me I still have something there because it needs to go through a reversing cycle in order to reset the magnet here. So gauge the cutter head, reverse the feed rolls on the head. Bang, it's out. There it's reset. Trouble is when you're hammering on it and chopping at a pretty good clip and you run metal, there's so much hay that spits out of the chopper that you're searching through a huge pile. So what I'll do is reverse it, spit the pile out, try to spit the pile out in a long area as I'm backing up. Then I'll just ease into it slowly, and it limits the size of the pile that I have to search through. Sometimes I can get lucky and it's still setting on the feed roll, but if there's a large amount of material going through, I can't leave the stuff there. You can't even pull it out of the feed rolls of the chopper. So again, this ground, we had taken hedgerows out. We're running the outside time around the field. And this ground is new to us, and it hasn't had a forage harvester on it, so there hasn't been anything to kind of sift through this ground to figure out what metal is going to come to the surface. But it's usually old wire, sickle bar knives, freaking rake teeth. But it'll pick up something as small as a 1/4-inch washer. Now see that there, I'll end up hitting. Well, spoke too soon. Sometimes it spits it out, throws it on the ground, and you don't ever pick it up again until the next cutting. Alright, so I've got hardly anything in the chopper, and I'm going to leave it there. And again, I am right of center, and it should still be on the feed roll. Right of center, should still be on the feed roll. There's a little too much material here, Nader. I don't think it made it in that far. Crap. Well, I think we're not going to be finding anything this time, and we'll find it next cutting. Plus, there's something up in here. Oh, here it is, right there. Look at that. Boy, I think I'm going to play lotto today. I've never found so many things. You know, usually we don't find it. So. Wonder what scrap iron's paying. one of the guys a couple years ago collected all the metal that we had found in the chopper, and it was enough to fill up a 5-gallon bucket. This also has stone detection on it as well. You get a stone the size of a softball, and it'll whack that. It'll whack the feed roll, and when it whacks the feed roll, it's enough of a jolt that it'll kick the same sensor. And we've kicked up as stuff as small as a tennis ball. I'll do anything any smaller. I got the threshold set low enough. Just let them go right through. It'll gobble them right up without any problem. It's them big bastards, the size of a softball or so, that cause problems. It doesn't so much hurt the knives. I mean, it does and it doesn't. But the other chopper we had, stone went in, I heard it, I stopped it in time, and I made the mistake by reversing it. And when I reversed it, I spit the chopper out backwards and rolled the stone around the bottom feed roll, and it bashed it in enough where the feed roll hit the magnet. The magnet is a rectangular bar. It's about 1 3/4 inches thick by about, I'd have to say maybe 2.5 inches wide. It runs the center of the feed roll. It stays stationary. And it dented the feed roll in enough where when that dent came around, it hit the thicker part of the rectangular shaped magnet, and it spun the magnet bolt off. There's like a little bolt that keeps the magnet itself from turning. And then when that happens, it twists the wires up, and you'll lose your connection to your magnet. And other than running without a magnet, you're kind of SOL until you replace that feed roll. And that bummed us right. We were a quarter of the way through second cut 2 years ago, and the dealer ended up letting us use a chopper to get us back going again. The trouble with this hay is you can't leave it. You can't just sit down for a day or two or whatever it is to get yourself fixed, because once the moisture goes out of this hay, it isn't any good as haylage. And we'll have anywhere from 300 to 500 acres of hay down at any given time. And at that particular point, we had 400 and some acres of hay down ahead of the chopper that was ready to go. And we had to do something quick. And it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. We had another machine up and going. We just had to chop a little later that one night and catch us back up again. But one thing about chopping hay, it's a finicky crop to chop. Dry hay is just as finicky. As long as you have a couple days ahead of you with a breakdown with a dry hay baler or something, you're okay, unless it's going to rain that afternoon. You might be able to catch yourself back up by getting yourself fixed up. You'll have a lot of scurrying around, but you might be able to get back up and going depending on how serious of a problem you have on a dry hay square baler, for example. This is cropland rebound alfalfa. It was seeded down last August. It was wheat in here last summer, and we had a hedgerow right down in below us here that my father took out. There was one that ran crossways of that second field over there. It's an open ditch down through between the two of us here. the two fields. And this is not Roundup Ready alfalfa. It's just it was seeded just clear alfalfa. I didn't put anything else in with it. We did have Auburn Ag treat it with a growth inhibitor, and we've been right on getting after it with insecticide as well. This was sprayed about, I don't know when they did it, 2 weeks ago anyhow, to clear up aphids and weevil and everything else. So it's a pretty healthy crop. It's just a little on the dry side. It's running right at about 46% moisture. It's about 8 to 10 points drier than where we want it. But we had some issues with the chopper getting the hay from the knives to the blower, and we had to deal with that problem. We ended up adjusting a few things, and we got it so it'll blow now. Well, again, it wasn't a blowing problem. It was the spiral floor needed to be shimmed up. It had too much of a gap between it and the knives, and it was more or less wedging the material, jamming itself up at the spiral floor, and it was singing quite a bit, really working the knife drum. And what it would do is it would form a wad, and it would kind of roll it. It would roll itself through, and the feed lost all its momentum from doing that. And that's the problem we were having with the plug-in issue. So Jared's here now. He's got inoculant for me, so I'm going to stop and get that put in here. So on this screen here, I'm waiting for a turkey just left. I'm waiting on that. So on this screen here, this is telling me my sensitivity for my magnet, and I've also got a stone detector on it. I run the magnet down, the sensitivity level down on 2, and my stone detection, I've got that on 4. That seems to be about where we need to be. We were getting up towards like 4 and 5, and we were getting a lot of ghost trips with the magnet. We were not finding anything, so I've got that sensitivity turned down. Now this is the 40 drum cutter head here. This is where we were plugging. This screen shows a kernel processor in behind the knife drum. I don't have the kernel processor in there, but right at about here, just in behind the kernel processor, is where the blower is, and the blower actually spins the material up through the yellow pipe here, and that's what gets the material to the truck. The trouble I had, there's what's called a spiral floor underneath this knife drum. We had to shim that up to take the tolerance, make that a little tighter, so that it would propel this material up through this straight channel to get it to the blower. That's where we were plugging. We were plugging right between the knives and the blower, and that's what caused us to have all that trouble here Monday night and Tuesday. Now the head would be sitting right here, and as the material flows through, the feed rolls pull it in and across. There's a smooth roll there, and then the upper feed roll, then it takes it to the knives. Then there's a shear bar that sits just in behind, just down below the top surface of that smooth roll. And what the shear bar does is it gives the knife drum an area to cut the hay. And when the hay is cut, it sits in this this little channel between the knife and the drum, and then it spins it back and propels it up to the blower. Now we can set our length, what's called length of cut. We can get it down. We're chopping at 10 millimeter, which is right around 3/8 of an inch of length. That is the length of the material that's going through the chopper. And this will speed up or slow down the feed rolls depending on what your length is. The shorter the length, the slower the feed rolls are going to go. That gives the material more time. It slows it down so that it's not slugging through so fast, and that gives the proper length. We can adjust this on the fly. We can also set it to a specific moisture setting. Say at above 60% moisture, you'd run your length of cut longer, and then as the moisture gets drier, you would have your length of cut be shorter. And we can have that adjusted so that it'll do that on the fly, and it'll automatically speed up and slow these feed rolls down according to the moisture of the material going through the chopper. I guess that's about all. This page is just the cutter head page. Now this is a 40 knife drum. Deere also offers a 48 knife drum, and I think the guys overseas there, I think they're running a 48 knife drum. I think they're chopping it a little shorter than we are. Klaus and Krone, and I don't know how many knives they have. I think they've got, instead of 2 knives on each side, we've got 10 rows of 4. I think they have maybe 10 rows of 2, maybe. I'm not sure. This knife drum spins at 1200 RPMs. And if you're leaning on it pretty heavy, you want to start backing off the stick when it gets down around 800 cutter head RPMs. That'll put your RPMs of the chopper on the engine down around 1500. As long as you don't run a slug, it'll handle it. But if you run a slug, running any slower than that, you'll get yourself into some trouble here pretty quick. All of the forage harvesters have a metal detector on them. I think it's almost standard equipment anymore. I don't know if they offer it as an option. It might be offered as an option, but I don't think anybody's buying a forage harvester anymore without a metal detector on it. There's just too many things that can go wrong. You could have something fall off the front of your head or something. You can cause a lot of damage in a hurry. So Klaus, Krone, John Deere, any of the pull types, I think they might be that might be an option on a pull type chopper, whether you go with a magnet or not. We can turn this magnet off. We can turn stone detection off, but you're just asking for trouble if you happen to run. If you happen to run a piece of iron, it not only can you severely damage the chopper, but you're going to put a lot of sharp material into your feed, and that's just not going to go good with a cow.